to have a fun, just laid back recap spaces for the Dunk Mod Creator Challenge. For those of you who entered and submitted some work, it's really dope to see, and want to make sure that we're just highlighting everybody who put their time in. And there's obviously a lot of really talented creators who took part. Just had the tweet go out about 75 of some of the best ones that we saw as a team, and it was pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know who the judges are gonna choose. There's a lot of dope qualified candidates this go around, and I'm excited to see what happens. But we got Fairy up on stage co-hosting. Fairy, how's it going?
Hello there. I am just so overwhelmed by these submissions. My God, you guys went in. There is such a wide variety, such a range of different types of creations. We've got 2D, we've got 3D concept designs, and then we've got 3D printed designs. Some of them are just there to look sick, and some of them have actual functionality. I really feel sorry for the judges. Like, this is going to be so tough. It is so close. I'm just so proud of everybody. Well done.
Yeah, big facts. There's just a lot of output. I think it was really cool since the way this one worked, we didn't have a limit on submissions, so people were really able to go wild from like day one. And you had we see some people in the audience, some familiar faces where it was clear they were putting out a lot of different ideas, and it's going to be sick. I'm going to go ahead and just start pinning some to the top, see if we can get some of these in here so people who haven't seen them can see. But I also messaged a few people that have been working on mods, and if you did create a mod and submit, feel free to request up and give us a little bit of your background on what you were thinking when you were creating it. So hope you guys jump in and we can just have a fun recap spaces.
And I hate to be that guy, but if you can repost this space, because there's a lot going on and people will just miss it naturally. So let's get them all in here. Let's talk about it. Oh, Rupsy's here. Let's go. Hi, Rupsy.
Hey, how's it going? I know I'm sorry I sound like I'm in the bathroom, but I got to speak through the AirPods and I'm at work currently. So, no, I just want to stop in and say hi and hear the stories about how these amazing mods came to life and share some of the thoughts behind how I came up with what I came up with and all the struggles and trials and tribulations of 3D printing and mechanical failures and user failures and long nights. But yeah, so just excited to hear everybody else talk and share.
Robsy, this challenge is pretty much made for you. I don't know if you were already planning some things, because I know you downloaded the files because we released them a few weeks prior. Did you download them and start cooking up stuff in your head? And are they the ones that ended up being your submissions, or are these completely new?
So I honestly didn't really have much of an idea of what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to make mods. I mean, that was like the whole reason why I kind of got the 3D printers in the first place. But I didn't really know what I wanted to do. The initial idea was something completely different. But I figured if I wanted to actually make it like a real physical thing, I probably didn't have enough time to make that a possibility. So I kind of had to change my approach. And so the first thought, honestly, was the overkill mod. I was just inspired. There's a page on my Instagram that I follow, and I can't remember the artist's name, but I think they do like a mix between like photography and like AI. And it's kind of dark and scary, and but it's really cool aesthetically. It's just really awesome, and there's a lot of skeletal features and stuff like that. And I was kind of inspired by the skeleton and just like I knew I wanted to make a mod that kind of encapsulated the whole shoe. I just didn't know how I wanted to do it. And so when I started looking at the artwork on that page, I was like, man, the skeleton would kind of be really it would play nice on here. And so I figured the spine, and then the rib cages could wrap around. And then I just started getting into Nomad Sculpt, which I don't know if it's free, but if it's not, it's really, really, really cheap. And it's just a sculpting program you can get on your iPad, and you just play around with some digital clay until you make it look pretty. And yeah, just send it into Blender and do some touch ups and remesh and stuff like that, and get the sizing just right, and send it through the 3D printer. But there was some prints that I initially made that I just test prints for fitting and stuff that were made out of just a normal PLA plastic, which is a rigid. It doesn't really flex much, and I knew that these needed to flex if they were going to be worn, and so I printed them with TPU, which is more like a rubber. But that was hard because it's learning, how to use that material, especially on a brand new printer that I'd never used before, was tricky. So there's a lot of fails involved. Again, some user error involved. Um, but yeah, so there's a lot of prototypes in a box in the corner of my room. But that came out pretty well. It was actually, once the modeling was done, the shoe that was provided with the files was amazing. It was so perfect and so easy to work with in 3D, and to be able to sculpt around that was really nice. And once it's printed and you get the sizing right, it really does fit perfectly. So it's about just trying to find the right material and then getting the sizing right. So once that came together, it went together pretty easily, to be honest. There wasn't too much work after the print. It was just kind of linking all the pieces together, and there was some gluing involved. So I think in total there were 4, 8, 12. There's like 14 pieces to that mod. So it's quite the mod. There's a lot going on, and I think print time, if I had to take a wild guess for that one, and I only did the one shoe, so it would probably take 40 hours of print time. So it was a lot of work. And then once that was done, I knew I wanted to do a second submission. I just didn't know what, and I was under a time crunch because I spent a lot of time on the other mod. But I had to go to Chicago to help teach a custom sneaker class. And while I was out there, I was staying with the guy, my buddy who was putting on the course. And he's got a playroom for his kids. And I brought my wife and my kid out with me. And I was playing in the room with my son. And he found this little toy that was just this little, it's like a Tamagotchi, like a new age Tamagotchi type thing, with this little LED light that kind of flaps around and it changes. And I was like, man, it's small. And I was like, man, this would be really cool on a shoe, but this IP, I can't use it. It's somebody else's stuff. And so I was like, I wonder if I can get like a hologram or something small. And then I just started digging online. I had to hit Amazon and order some stuff overnight and try and get it there. And that one just kind of fell together. I honestly, the hardest part was trying to figure out how to power it and make the power source small enough to fit on a shoe. And I honestly believe if I had another week, I'd have been able to get that power source way smaller with a little switch in there to where, yeah, you probably wouldn't even notice it. And then you could switch it on and off. You wouldn't have to plug it in. So that one was kind of like a last second shot from half court, and I think it went in. So that one seems to be the one that people really like. It is really, really, really cool, especially in hand. I know it looks cool on video, but when you get that thing in hand, it's really cool to see. It's a really neat effect, and you can put any MP4 animation will play through that. So yeah, that was a little bit of how it happened. I was inspired playing with my kids' toys and threw it on a shoe, and here we are. So
That's crazy. You definitely swished the half court shot, bro. That was wild to just come up with that one at the last minute.
yeah, it was rough. I mean, I was traveling a lot. I have, as you know, I make custom sneakers, so I have deadlines that have to get met. There's a lot of stuff going on. I got a kid. I'm a husband. I work full time, so trying to find time to get all this together. And my air conditioning went out the other day. Oh, it was terrible. It was so hot. Man, but that was a rough one. So everything got in on time. It was a big learning experience. I'm super, super, super happy I did it. It's gonna open so many more doors, especially with the more colorways coming out. And I don't think it's gonna slow down anytime soon. So creations are gonna be made.
Robsy, I know a lot of people are leaning towards the hologrammy one more, but I love the overkill so much. I love the color of it. I love the dangling pendants. My inner grunger is like having a party in my head, and also hype beast wannabe type of person that I am. Like, it's so sick, and also the texture that comes out from the 3D print matches like the swoosh and the blade perfectly. Like, I'm so in love with it. If we can potentially maybe talk in the DMs, maybe I could get get one made for myself. I would.
Absolutely. That's my favorite. I mean, that's my baby. Like the Hollow fan thing's cool, and the attention that it got is awesome. But that Overkill mod, I put I put a lot into that. Like I really really worked hard trying to conceptualize that. I wanted to be articulating so it moved when you walked. You know what I mean? Like, and what's crazy is the other mod that was made. I forget her name. Jess, uh, kind of the same kind of concept with the spine and how it articulates, and just that it's so cool that people that have never even, I didn't even know honestly she existed in the world, had the same kind of thought and came up with two completely different things with the same rough thought. It was really cool to see that.
Yeah, shout out Jess. She definitely snapped on hers, and I think it's cool that you even drew a comparison because I didn't even make that comparison in my head. That you two were on like the same wavelength. They were two separate ideas, in my opinion, but it does make sense now. Like, kind of looking back and thinking about how you set everything up. But yeah, man, this Venom Spawn Overkill vibe, that's all me. But I'm excited, man. I love just seeing how fired up you get and others get about doing things like this because definitely shows the amount of hours and time that went into it. But hey, I see some other dope people. I don't want to start calling out names, but if you've made a mod and you want to jump in, chat, share your story, definitely want to hear more of these backgrounds because I don't know if the hack is to supposedly to have kids and then like start playing with their toys and then you'll get like really good ideas or something. But apparently that's what Rupsy said so far.
You know what also helped me is when I went to go do this custom sneaker course. It's a 3 day course. And so I'm kind of locked in a room for 10 hours a day with 15 people that are creating. And so there's this energy that's just kind of built in this room, and it's contagious. And the more that you do it, the more that you pick up on it. And I feel, I mean, it was exhausting. Don't get me wrong. You're teaching. And now I understand why most teachers, no, no shade, but a lot of teachers may or may not be alcoholics. A lot of mine were. I understand that now. But it's exhausting, but the reward that you get, and especially if you're creative, it tends to rub off on you a bit. And I don't know if these ideas would have really came out the way they did had I not been helping with that class and being in that environment.
Step one, have kids with great ideas and toys. Step two, be around a bunch of dope creatives. Love it. This is alpha. But hey, we also got Kane on stage. Kane, what's going on? I know you were cooking up a lot of dope things.
Unfortunately, I don't have kids, but
I wasn't gonna peer pressure you, bro. Trust me. I was gonna say, do it responsibly. Damn, I don't know if I can say that tagline.
Do it responsibly. Stop. Kane, dude. I don't even know what to say, but something I need to get off my chest is you killed me because I'm part of the people that have to collect all these submissions. And it was hard. It was really, really hard. We have to download all the assets, put them in a sheet, and there's just all sorts of stuff that goes into collecting all of this data. And you absolutely wrecked me. But it's been amazing. I thought is it good to be, pushing out quantity rather than quality? They were freaking quality. Like, there are some really, really cool mods in there, which, again, I'll have to get in your DMs. Also, probably get a few. I'm in love with all of these. So, which one is your favorite, Kane?
Actually, I haven't really thought of it. Originally, the only one that I worked on was the automobile one, because I don't know. It was like it was a hard challenge because the rules are so broad, and I messaged a couple people kind of trying to ask like for pointers, but I wasn't too sure, so I was like, let me just do one. But after I did that one, I was like, well, why not just try? And I just ended up making a couple every day till the challenge ended. So I don't like really have a favorite because I just like to like kind of swap them, um, and see what looks best for the certain day.
You obviously added a few troll ones in there, which I did enjoy. There was one of their stick man just hanging off. Was that a serious one or was that a joke one? Because it can go for both.
I didn't submit it by email, so I feel like it would be a joke one.
Well, we definitely did laugh. And there was another one where you were pulling the car. Is that the automobile one you're talking about, or
Uh,
there's just many I can't keep up anymore?
no, that one. If I didn't submit them by email, they were definitely jokes. So yeah, that one. Obviously, the stepping on shoes that was the biggest troll, but um, yeah.
That
The
was just
fact
painful.
had enough time to make 22 submissions and also add in some joke ones. I don't even know what to say. It's very, very impressive. My personal actually, I can't say my favorites. Never mind. Move on.
Nah, you already said your favorite for Rupsia. I mean, my personal favorite for Canes was the glow in the dark one. I don't know why I like glow in the dark, but that one just looked like a Pokemon character on foot. It was really cool.
Yeah, that one actually was like super last minute. I wasn't sure if I could do it because I didn't have glow in the dark filament. But someone, I don't know if he's listening, but someone asked me to get a glow in the dark version of the dragon that I made. So I just ordered glow in the dark filament, and then I just had time to design it and submit it.
Love the pivots. Always the last minute ideas that work out the best.
Yeah, for me, some of the ones that I really loved is the mods that kind of like wrap around the swoosh. Like that, I thought is so clever how it just kind of like builds into the shoe. And there's another one. It's almost dragony as well, but it goes longer outwards. I don't know what you've called that one, but that one looks super clean. I really like it. And there's a chainsaw one that you made as well. That's really cool because that goes around the swoosh. Yeah, very, very impressive, Kane. Are you potentially planning on, I don't know, commissioning people in the future?
Um, I have like accepted a couple, but it's just like the time of printing is just like certainly Artifact, like they reposted on Instagram, so I have a bunch of like requests that I haven't really like replied to. But like I have a small list. The problem is it takes time, and also like to be transparent, like I charge like $15 per like set, which isn't a lot. So like my margins are small. So I'm trying to do it like I'm trying to get through people before I accept more people. And right now I'm like have 3 people on my list and I can't even go through it yet.
Make sure to tip your 3D printers, guys. Come on, you know
Literally,
the rules.
yeah. And if anyone's, willing to work for Kane for free, I think he needs an assistant, a PA, because his DMs are booming. Not surprised, to be honest. Yeah, dope. Amazing. If anybody else in the audience wants to come up and talk about their mods, please do. Kane, how long does each of the prints take, or which one was the longest?
Actually, I'm trying to remember, but I'll say like probably like the dragon or like the mutated one, the one that's like super long. Like those take maybe like 4 to 5 hours, and then the like smaller ones will take like 3 hours. Like a vial will take 30 minutes, just for perspective. Because I printed like glow in the dark ones because I was like, some people asked for the glow swooshes, so I was like, I might as well just print them like glow in the dark vials to go with it. So those took like 30 minutes.
Okay, so this challenge was 3 weeks long. It takes about 5 hours for each print. You guys do the calculations. This guy did not sleep.
Well, actually, all my submissions, like the automobile one, I submitted it like 5 days before the challenge ended. So all my submissions were actually done in the last like 4 days of the challenge.
That is crazy. Yeah, I remember taking the dates down and I'm like, 12 in a day? Are you okay? Like, how is this happening? Very, very impressed, Kane. Thank you so much for your contributions. I really wish you the best of luck. This is going to be a tough one, man. I mean, some of your designs, they could potentially, win them all. But there's also some other good ones. Johnny, hi. How you doing?
Hey, yeah, I'm good. How are you guys?
Very well. I don't know if you can tell, but we're very, very excited. Like to the point where I'm losing brain cells, not sure how to act around you guys. I'm actually in love with all the creators that we have. I don't know. So maybe let's dive into your submissions. You had 2, am I right?
Honestly, I'm not even sure. I feel like half of them I did like over the last couple of years, and I just kind of my schedule's crazy busy right now, so just took some of the ones and just kind of tweaked a couple of them. But I had one of them that I put in, but it had Murakami trace in it, so I obviously knew that wasn't going to work as far as the contest goes. But just doing it really kind of for fun. It was dope to finally get the 3D files after 3 years. And it's cool to see like the first challenge actually have physical product coming out of it, which is dope. A lot of it was 3D centric or digitally centric. So just to see like physical products start getting printed out of printers by the community, it's really kind of dope to see. And yeah, some of them are really cool. Some of the submissions, obviously, my boy Rupsy just killed it. And I know he had a couple other ideas. It just timed in a lot, but it's gonna be cool to see what comes out of his printers over the next year or so. But yeah, Jess's ones were crazy, and then Kane, obviously, just volume is insane. So, but there's a few others out there that mad respect. Mad respect to all the creators out there that are just doing anything for it. So, shoes are dope though. Shoes are dope, and then having that operability, definitely gonna be getting some from some of the community members over the next little while. But yeah, just excited to see what comes out.
Yeah, you've been the king of the artifact redesigns for a long time. I feel like you've been putting out so many different kind of concept designs for the community, so it's always dope to see.
Still want to do that like the black mamba like snake wrapped around the shoe. I think that would be really sick. Obviously, yeah, like when I was doing those digital tech 2D renders a long time ago, I didn't really have the plan in mind that they were going to do like the 3D added on back pieces or the tongue balls or anything like that. I didn't even know if the shoe was going to come out, but to see kind of how they did it to actually allow us to be able to print it, it's dope. So trying to turn some of those into reality at least. I mean, we have the 3D files for the assets, so even if it's just for personal use, it'll be kind of cool to see those get printed off.
Yeah, I was gonna say you heard it. You can hit Kane up. He's cooking in the kitchen. There's a little line out the door, but I mean, you can probably relate with that. You've been there yourself, so. But I also posted some more. I see some people that are in the audience that submitted some things. Maybe they don't want to come up and talk, but I just want to show them some love and pin theirs to the top. I think Relics had a really cool one, very like space boot, see-through vibe, and then also Smear. I know had a few different submissions, but this one they had with like a very like television kind of reminds me of like a COD station, like one of those like areas that you would go and pick up like a ray gun or something. But yeah, a lot of cool stuff. Is super dope to see all sorts of creators from different ends come out.
And you know, something else that I noticed in this challenge is people have stepped up their presentation skills. Like a lot of these renders or like the product photography, the 2D creations, they're all like worthy of being on like a serious website, which is artifact dot what is our website? artifact.creators.com. Dude, Franco has absolutely killed it. He's made a page. I don't know if you guys have seen, but we just unveiled the top 75 submissions, and they're so beautifully laid out. If you want to get to know any of them a little bit more, go into depth, because some of these submissions you actually need to click in and go and read their words, the creators' words, their descriptions of their mods. A photo, a still photo, is not going to do it justice, honestly. Some of them have videos also, some of them have work in progress pics, or I don't know, like 2D sketches. It's all just so cool. I'm very, very impressed by you all. We also had, what did we have? We had quite a few with Apple Watch implementations, which is really, really cool, because I think smartwatches are more than common nowadays, and we all love seeing our, I don't know, pretty clones, or hopefully soon our animus, on our digital screens and whatnot. So their possibilities with those things are quite endless. Something else that stood out to me was Dom Jordan. Is he here? What's he doing?
He is. He might be a little indisposed, but hopefully we can get him to jump in towards the end.
Yeah, he killed it with his designs as well. I love how there is like a graph behind it, and there's different examples of how it could be used, and how he's made it in 3D print also. Like, some of you guys didn't just do one form of expressing these mods. You went ham. You went in and really showed us ins and outs of all of these custom mods. I'm just so blown away. I'm just thinking, if I were not part of the team, would I even be able to potentially even come close to creating anything as cool? And I think I would try, but I don't think I would succeed very much. One person that also really impressed me was Charles Hamblin, and he made an AR filter for his design as well. I mean, come on, like, how more artifact could you get, really? Like, he understood the assignment. Most of you, all of you, understood the assignment. So, Sea Searcher. Let's test Cass on his memory. Do you remember what Sea Searcher made?
No, that's why we like to pin things at the top so people can get those visual clues.
Was that shade? Jeez. He made a building block mod, so you could potentially attach any building block related. We won't say any IP words, but you could attach whatever you have onto your shoe, and you could really, really make it your own. So that was really, really dope. Somebody else who actually went in with their submission was Meryl, and he's up on stage. Hi, Meryl. How you doing?
Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? You hear me all right? I'm a little bit. You said that you think you might try, but you're not gonna succeed. I feel like that's the wrong attitude there, Barry. Like you gotta try until you succeed in it. Like
You're so right. You're so right.
head
I
of
think.
artifact creators, a little bit scared there, are we?
I mean, is it really? Can you blame me? I'm seeing insane quality stuff all day, every day,
I
and
know,
I'm not producing anything. So
I
maybe
know.
consuming more creative.
I think you can still creative direct something. I think I had the same kind of feeling because it's like I started seeing some of the stuff getting let out, and I was like, oh, maybe I can release a few things. But traveling different countries and not having my 3D printer and having to use what I had lying around, I had to chop it up and get creative. And then you're talking about presentation. Honestly, I think presentation was number one. If the presentation wasn't there, then the community or the the artifact panels or whatever wouldn't actually post it. So I think presentation is kind of like everyone started realizing that was a big part of the playbook, because then if it was reposted and more views and everything, so obviously there's a lot of different creators who put a lot of time in that, like Jesse and Dom, etc. So last minute, I had to call in some favors from some of the community members who pulled through amazingly. So that's definitely a testament to Regis and Illa just coming through. And then like the last 2 hours, it's like here's a render, and it's like Illa, can you do an audio? Like here's some audio, and it's like that took my thing to the next level, just because without that, I would have just had just something like a 3D printed product, which might not have made sense.
No, I think you killed it because even at the start, your concept of that essential design with the Gundam foot, I think it became a trend within this challenge where people started really putting out those kind of product description graphics. I'll call it.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's it. It's definitely some of them definitely fit into the brand very easily. And the initial ones I was posting, I was like, these are not gonna cut it. This is not something I would repost if I was this brand. So I was like, how do I get there? Because I could do the design, but I can't do the local presentation unless I had time, and I was cut for time because I was like last minute 3D printing and everything. But it came through, I think, and I'm super grateful for the other creators who collaborated with me last minute. I think that's what my might be. But yeah, I think everyone loves Gundam, and there's a few Gundam like robotic mech kind of things out there. So that was pretty encouraging.
Yeah, big kudos to you, Meryl. You not only submitted like a 3D plan of it, but you also did a 3D print, and then you showed yourself wearing it, and you also have a really, really cool video that goes along, which comes from collaboration with other creators in this community, which I feel like it just adds bonus points because that's what it's all about. So who were the people that you collaborated with again? Illa and Regis?
Regis helped with the render. I gave it to him like overnight, and then after 2 hours he pumped that out. And then Illa Orbis, the music genius, is obviously part of there, as well as sound design for it, just to give it a little bit extra. Yeah, the 3D print is actually hasn't even been finished yet. I'm missing like one key component, but I'm away from home at the moment, so it's kind of like on pause. But hopefully there'll be some updated pictures later on.
Dope. Can't wait. I love how it's kind of like split in the middle because it adds it gives allowance for flexibility if you were to go on your toes or something. Is that intentional? Is that why it's like that, or is that just the design?
Yeah, I think if it wasn't in two halves, it would be a very stiff thing, and also I couldn't apply slip them onto the clips. So I don't actually have images of the clips, but the front one, I actually had to make another clip to kind of wrap around the laces. So it's basically the same thing but bigger and a little bit further down the internals, which then goes on the laces, and then the top one goes into the clip itself. And then the back side, I've also have these two hooks that go to the left and right of your ankle where the shoe is, so that it kind of sits, it rests some of the weight on there. Otherwise, the clip would break. So yeah, the part of the separation was also to keep it within the aesthetic of like having these two like mobile parts. So when you stepped, it would do that. So it was functional and fashion related, I guess.
Other than the difficulties that you mentioned, like not being in your environment and having access to your tools, did you have any other obstacles when creating this?
I guess like travel, like life is part of it, something you have to balance, I guess. Family occasions and stuff happening, and kind of running away and just doing a little bit of time here and there and just focusing on this. But really, I think that was the main obstacle. It's just like because of the travel, I wasn't in my usual, like I didn't have my usual hardware and whatnot. So I had to spend some time opening up the old 3D printer and debugging that a little bit. And then obviously because of the size of the printer, I had to separate the prints into multiple parts and then weld it together, which was a nice experience actually. Like the welding was nice to have in between the different prints. But yeah, I think that's all that happened really, and everything else. Like I have my same design laptop with me. The design files, which Frederick, not Frederick, is it Frederick? I think it was, helped me out with trying to get a format that suited my 3D program, but didn't necessarily turn out as expected. But the support or the interest he had in showing support to me was like, okay, I can definitely do this because I can't put his time to waste, you know? Apart from that, yeah, I mean, like if I had any comments, I'd say it'd be great to have some of the 2D profile images out earlier so that we could sketch on top of them. And the 3D file if possible as well. But mainly, I design around the 3D model, which is a representation of the physical, obviously, and make sure that I have spacing because, as you could see, I think I would go so far as to say mine's the biggest just because it was a little bit outrageous. And I tried to get all the angles in. But yeah, without the shoe model, I wouldn't be able to kind of estimate the sizing and have to spend a lot more time in test prints to get the sizing and then narrow it in. Instead, I just used the 3D model as a base and then like had some tolerance between the space on the 3D print.
Something we carefully have to consider is the length of the challenge. Is really, really tough to make sure that it's quick enough to get everybody's attention and not let them, go far away into the distance, get occupied by something else. But at the same time, you don't want it to be too short because, wait, you know what I mean. How was it for you, Meryl? What do you think?
Interesting question because I thought
for a second, it's so hot in the UK right now. Jeez,
it is hot. It is hot. You being back in the UK is a bit funny. My accent's kind of coming back as well.
no
again?
way. Okay, so you're suffering too.
A little bit, yeah. But Tokyo is a lot hotter at the moment. Like it's like 40 plus degrees, I think, and it's just nonstop. Horrible. The length of the challenge, I think, was okay. I think the pre-amp towards it could be a bit longer. If that makes sense. Like we all knew the dunk challenge was coming, but I don't think I had the necessary like dimensions or whatever to start conceptualizing straight away. So I just did, I think, some basic conceptualization, and then when I designed by the millimeter basically, so it's more accurate and specific. So that's just me. But I knew there were 3D models around somewhere, but I don't know how accurate they would be.
Yeah, definitely good feedback. And I think it'll be something worth noting in the future and how we try to approach things. But hopefully we can see more creations, not just out of you, Meryl, but out of a bunch of other people. It'll be fun to see what continues after this. I know we had people like Dabasa, I think, who recently put up a render some flying wings, which was absolutely insane to see. And so a lot of potential for how people can continue to craft and prepare for future ideas and future challenges. Hopefully, we can also get some people like Dom up, who you guys were kind of mentioning. See if we can hear from him as well, and some others. I see some dope people. I just know that they're at work. I've been bugging them, but they're gonna have to just tell their bosses this is a more important place to be. But if you want to jump in, I know there's some others as well. Feel free to request up. This is just a laid back space. It's always dope to get to know the creators who are putting these things together, and it takes a lot of time as well. So it's always cool to get that backstory. Oh wow! So I think one person actually did just tell their boss that they had to leave. So shout out to Memory for quitting his job just to join the spaces.
Yeah, thankfully we got artifact creators to fall back on. I already have 1,000 orders, and I officially quit my job just to come on the space. So appreciate you guys.
Now, Memory, you gotta tell us about this design. I'm a fan of the Yayo Kusama like infinity mirrors and infinity rooms, and so when I saw yours, it was really dope. I was actually not expecting that when you had the like work in progress pics, which were also super dope. But now it's all just like just super sick to see pulled together.
Thanks, Maine. Before I go into that, I wanted to go back to what Repsy was talking about having a toy inspiration, like be a product driven design. So back in college, we had I went to school for industrial design, and we had a studio sponsored by VF Imageware, which RIP, they lost Supreme, and ooh, they having a rough year. Um, but yeah, so we were tasked with designing a workwear uniform, and one of their biggest briefs in the design was they wanted it to be like mobile friendly, like have full range of motion and everything. So I was like, what's something that I have really good articulation with, and it could be but is static and but still flexible. And I was like, oh, I've got this freaking Captain America action figure, and it had like these shoulder joints that allowed it to like be all the way back. And I was like, oh, let me use this. And so I did the exact same lines of what the action figure was into the design, and I ended up like getting first with them, and they ended up taking my design into production, and then ended up doing really well. But since it's in college, you have no IP rights, and they just steal everything and benefit from it. But yeah, I thought that was a fun tie-in. So Rups, I feel you, dude. You sometimes find inspiration in some very unique and interesting and sometimes fun ways. But yeah, this challenge was fun to me because I feel like it brought together kind of everything that I like right now. It's sneakers, design, 3D printing, electronics, and culture and technology and all that good jazz. But my thoughts on it, I think Meryl said it was very. Also, shout out Meryl real quick. Meryl not only was working on his own gigantic like world-size projects, but he was also the reason why my projects exists in the first place. So thank you, Meryl, for dealing with me and all of my design changes while you were making my file. It would not happen without you. But yeah, the way that I interpreted this was like, I mean, 3D is cool, 2D is cool, but we have the dunks. So like, what's the point in designing something that can't be made or like just won't exist? So I thought it would be imperative to design something that people could actually have and wear and enjoy and think matched with the shoe. So shout out to all the homies that did 3D, like Rupsy and Mozzie, and of course Kane. Meryl. I don't know how you did that. Like that shoe is gigantic and is quite an undertaking, but you did it, and you always come up with some cool stuff. But that's enough of me rambling. I'm just a 3D print physical maxi, and you can't stop me.
Well, dude, can we ask how did you even like concept for this one to get such a small? Because it's very slim. Like the fact that you were able to get it lit and it's set up so perfectly. Like I'd love to hear how you pulled that off.
Um, the design actually came to me in the shower one day, and I don't know how, but the shower is like this. It's almost like an oracle, and you just sit there, and it's like your brain turns off everything else that's going on in your life, and you're like, what do I want to focus on right now?
Sorry, memory. 1 second. This is very important for me to know because I completely agree. When you say sit in the shower, do you have a seat there or are you sitting on the floor? Because the visuals are killing me.
Sometimes I just turn the shower head to the wall and lean my head up against the wall.
Oh my god.
But it's
God,
very
this is
therapeutic and a lot of good. I guess it helps the blood flow or something. Uh, yeah. But it came to me in the shower one day, and then see what I was thinking. I have a friend that has like a full manufacturing warehouse, so I got him to laser cut some 16th inch acrylic that I could put a one-way mirror film on. So that's what's on the topmost lens, and then you have obviously the LEDs are in between, and then you've got the mirror on the bottom. But yeah, I try to get the smallest and the thinnest possible quality to have like the most low profile, because I know whenever you add things on there, some people complain about the clunkiness. So if you get it as low profile as possible, I feel like you'd have the best success and acceptance from people. But yeah, it's a cool effect. Like the thing I like about it is it's very deceptive. Like you can do it in the 3D modeling program. Like you can figure out a way to where you can make the materials only show from one side, so you can almost fake that in. Um, but in real life, it's a very cool trick. I was actually thinking about doing a hologram, but I think you have to look at those from a certain angle in order for them to work. And I wanted to do something that you could see it from like a top down or like a side angle. So that's why I went with that one.
it's beautiful. I think it's super cool. It's literally like a art piece for the shoe, just like a lot of these. But yeah, just the way you were able to pull it off is very sick. So super cool. It sounds like the tips are, aside from having kids, if you want to take a long shower, head directly against wall, water slightly to the side. That will help you keep the flow of ideas coming, which is sick because you never know. A good shower could just bring the next hit thing out for you. Wow, Rupsy had to jump back up after the mention of the shower idea. I think this man went and got inspired. Rupsy, what's going on?
No, I got busy at work, so I had to kind of jump out for a second. But my brother Johnny's up here, and I just wanted to take a second while he's up here. We just got done working on a project that I won't go too in depth in, but until it's ready. But he is responsible. He's the reason why I was able to even get this 3D printer to make these mods. I have a resin printer already, but it's not able to do the things that I wanted it to do for this challenge. And he with this project, he nominated me for a grant, and it was approved, and it allowed me to purchase this printer. So without him, these mods would have never even you would have never even seen them. The ideas would have been there, but they wouldn't be available for anybody to enjoy. Certainly wouldn't have been done in time for this contest. So I just wanted to, while he's on stage, just kind of give him some flowers for that. So free mods for Johnny whenever he wants them. That's just the way it goes. Everybody else, you're gonna have to cough up some bucks. But these printers ain't cheap. So I love you, dude. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. And yeah.
Man, I love you too, my guy. No, I mean this is what it's all about. I mean, you're the one who motivated me, honestly. So I mean, with the whole grant situation, I mean, it was somebody that was an educator or somebody that really motivated you or somebody that taught you some things. And as you guys have followed along in this entire journey, how much he saw me in 3D and 3D design and animation. I mean, Artifacts supplied the files, but Rupsy was the one who taught me how to use them. So, yeah, with the opportunity, it's just, again, dope to see him pushing his skill set with the 3D and modeling and, him getting his first introductory printer and then being able to, grant him this to be able to upgrade the printer to continue to upgrade his skills. And then again, dope work came out of it. I mean, that hologram piece at the end was, I mean, it's crazy. So, I mean, that was just like a random surprise. The other one with the ribbing was insane. I know we were talking about it. Didn't think he was going to be able to get it done, but yeah, insane turnout. But I mean, this is what it's all about, right? Family supporting family, and it's just dope to see creations coming out of it. And like I said, super excited to see what's going to come out just over the next like 12 months and what the future holds with all this stuff. It's really cool.
Big, big facts, and I love seeing this. Even Meryl and Memory sounded like they had a little backstory as well about creators helping each other out, and I think that's the best part of this. If you have friends who are legitimately supporting you along your journey, trying to help you succeed, that's something you can't take for granted, especially in a cutthroat space like the creative world. So love seeing this, guys. Y'all are definitely the models for this. But man, we're coming up on an hour. I know there are a few others that are hanging out. Would love to have some more people jump in, but hopefully we can get them to join before we shut things down. So if you had a mod that you made, you want to chat about it for a bit, feel free to request up.
I would love to hear from Jess if she could she could come up.
Yeah, don't Jess. We don't want to peer pressure you, but we can start. We can
I,
start.
I will. Okay. I'm doing it.
Do it.
Jess, you have to come up.
Yeah, Jess, you need to come up and tell us how we need to pronounce. I can't pronounce it. Pezio Electric. Pezio. Oh, she's here.
Mate, are you British?
Hey,
Pizzo.
shout out to peer
Pizzo.
pressure.
No, I know how to pronounce it.
I mean, talk about time. Talk about timing and what you can get done in timing. I was like, this is just again flowers to this. This is like insane. Just like the whole layout, the presentation. I mean, top notch, just crazy. So flowers to you.
Hi, Jess. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
I was actually just doing work at the moment, so I was just listening. But yeah, I'm happy just to talk through the design if you guys had any questions or anything. But nice to see you all.
We have a lot of questions, Jess. How are you this good, first of all?
I'm not. I just spend a lot of hours in my room is the only answer to that. I think it's just I get very addicted to things. So with things like design challenges or anything remotely kind of requiring someone to sit in a room and design something, I think that's normally quite up my street. So yeah, I was really excited to start this when I saw it. I haven't done a competition in so many years, so it was nice to be able to kind of relive those early times when I used to do that quite a lot.
Honestly, it is such an honor to have you participate in this challenge, because I've said this to you before. When I first came into this space, Yobs was like, oh my god, have you seen Jess? And he showed me what you were making, and then obviously Figure Got came later down the line, and then I realized you were a part of it. You're the creator of it. It was just all this mind-blowing chain of events. And to have you, I am a massive fan of who you are as a person, you know this, and also as a designer, as an artist, as a freaking genius. The fact that you participated and produced such insane quality work, it means so much to me. So I just want to thank you on behalf of...
That's so kind. I really appreciate that. If anything, I want to thank you guys for setting this up for the community. I think it's such an amazing thing to see people kind of back and reliving those kind of early Web3 days of having a lot of people on the timeline under artifacts and seeing everyone kind of join in. I think I was kind of hoping I'd have some time to squeeze this in, and I really wanted to, so I'm really happy I did. And to be honest, it was a lot of fun. So regardless of whatever the outcome is, it was so much fun, and it's kind of made me realize how much fun kind of doing personal projects are again. Like Figure Got definitely is a big personal project of mine still, obviously, but it's nice to switch it up every now and then, and kind of go down that kind of product designy route, which, to be honest, I was really, really happy to be able to kind of do that again. I feel like I've been doing a lot of animations for the past year, so yeah, it was really nice to do something more product designy. And yeah, so I just want to thank you guys as well. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I gotta love the product designy aspect, because you put it together like a whole patent sheet, which is just like absolutely insane. And I feel like when I saw it, it just reminded me of something from that like cyberpunk Edge Runner show. Like it felt like I could get that installed somewhere on like a back street, and it would make me fly or something. So hopefully you do full life size print one of those, because I might actually mess around and try to put it on.
Yeah, I do actually have a 3D printer, and I've been really debating kind of setting it up and sanding it down and spraying it up. We'll have to see how much time, but I'd love to do that, because I think it'd be cool just to see what it looked like in real life as well. But yeah, 100%, I'd love to do that.
Jess, I volunteered to come over to dungeon, your cave of creations, if you want me to you wash your clothes whilst you get down and do this. Fine, I'm happy to do it.
Oh, perfect. Deal done.
Oh god, what did I get myself into?
Did someone say dungeon party?
Oh my god.
Before this goes far too south, Jess, do you mind giving us a little like background on how you even concepted this and where you got your inspiration from?
Yeah, sure. So, funnily enough, probably about 3 or 2 years ago, I entered I can't remember which car brand it was, but there was a car brand that did a design contest, and it was to do with energy conserving and energy generation. And I was doing a lot of research into this thing called piezoelectricity, and I submitted a design for them, which was essentially a way of generating electricity through wave energy. And it was kind of a fun rabbit hole that I went down of finding out about this material called piezoelectric graphene that's really thin, but from it bending, it generates electricity. So when I kind of saw when I was thinking up of the concept for this project, obviously I had a lot of kind of background research into doing, that research on that project. That I also do a lot of running, so I kind of put the two and two together, and that was kind of another way of movement to generate electricity, the same as you'd get from wave energy creating electricity. So yeah, that was kind of the initial concept, and I had the idea. I didn't know what it looked like for obviously a couple of weeks. I just had it kind of lingering at the back when I first saw the competition, because I thought it'd be a cool kind of way to instead of wearing a GPS watch, or kind of always remembering your watch whenever you're kind of walking around or traveling, just having something on your shoe as a way to track your steps, track your GPS. And I feel like that's a concept which I hadn't seen before, so I was really intrigued to kind of visualize how that would be put together into a product. So yeah, I kind of sat down for a day and just was sketching lots of designs and trying to come up with ways in which I could kind of incorporate the bending of this piezoelectric graphene and putting it into a way that was kind of nice looking. Because I think with my previous design that I did for the car competition, I was kind of happy with it, but I really wanted the form factor to look a lot more aesthetic for something that's going to be on your shoe. So yeah, I was just looking and sketching for a day and just coming up with ideas on a way that I could put those two things together. And somewhere along the line, I kind of thought about the fact that your spine moves in the same way that kind of a shoe moves. And I think from that point, it all kind of tumbled down. And with the whole like tailbone aspect at the back and the spine at the front, it just kind of all came together, I think. after a kind of a day of sketching, and then having kind of that initial sketch, which I then put into Blender and rendered it up. Hope I didn't waffle too much.
No,
No,
not
this is
enough.
genius.
Yeah, honestly, Kat, go ahead.
I'm still digesting. I mean, that was like it's insane to know the background, the fact that you even have such knowledge when it comes to not just like product development but product design. It's so sick. Like you're way too talented. And then yeah, just the conclusion you came to with how spines and shoes move the same. Like I really would have never would have thought of that. That was actually just a real life biohack.
Yeah, as somebody who's recently trying to get into running, this really resonated with me. By the way, I did my first ever 5-mile run recently, which I'm very,
Let's go!
I died and stopped running after that. But this is perfect because I have my Apple Watch and it gets sweaty under there. You know what I mean? Like I don't want that. And I also don't want to have to keep looking at my time. Be like, is this enough? Did I do it? This, it just keeps everything undercover and it just does the job. And when you get back home, then you will see what you've done. So I think you smashed it. The way you delivered this piece is so gorgeous. You've got like, again, like you've got animations, you've got shots of the products, the different devices that come into this design, and the patent as well. Like as Cass said, that is such a dope thing. It again is a very, very artifact, and congratulations for understanding the assignment. Clap again.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Oh dear. Yeah. So, something else actually. Let me just pin this to the top. I just came across this. Mr. Bab. Apologies if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I mean, it's such a funny one, but you smashed it. It's one of those designs where it's like, it's modifying the sneaker, the dunks, but also adds another layer of personalization. So, you can add things on top of it and make it your own in a different way also. It's really, really cool. I would love to see what goes behind the things that are pinned into the creation. I pinned it to the top, by the way, so you guys know what I'm waffling about. But I thought that was really cool. And also, if we were to give the cutest mod design award to somebody, it would be Danny. Let me just quickly find that. It's a light up hot mod design. Danny. Oh my god, this is going to take off. I'll put it to the top. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. I love how you guys really went in. There's so much variety of like different utility that comes with these, or some of them are just aesthetically so. The word is peng in English slang, if you don't know it, is peng, right? These designs are peng. Another shout out, Rose Jade, for incorporating her watercolor designs. I just love all of you. Like, some of you, the people that have been within the community for a while, I can see that you've taken different elements from your journey as a creator and you've implemented it into your designs. And obviously hearing backstories of like Rupsy with being inspired by his kid's toy, and same thing with Memory and Jess previously doing another design which taught her about this crazy I don't know how to pronounce it. It's piezoelectric.
Yeah, you got it.
Oh, finally. I used ChatGPT to try and learn how to pronounce it, but he gave me 2 different versions. Yeah, Mara?
Like pens? Like you're saying peng. How do you say it? What are you saying here?
Wait, can you
How do you say it?
up?
How do you say it? How do you say peng?
Painting.
Bro.
You're a painting, bruv. And also, guys, we don't say bruv anymore, we say brev. Shout out, Yobs. I'm gonna shut up now. Cass, take over.
No, I think this is a good place to end it. There's been a lot of dope people who came up, and I don't want it to run too long before we start talking more about dungeons and paintings. You know, it could go sideways. But now this was awesome. I really appreciate you guys all jumping in and sharing your stories. A lot of dope inspirations. Y'all were all cooking too, and there's a lot of others that we didn't get to mention or bring up, but I know we'll have more opportunities to talk about them and share their work soon. So super fun stuff, y'all. Let's give a last word to somebody though. I don't like to end on my own waffling as these Brits have been saying. But let's throw it to Jess. Jess, you got any tips or advice for creators you want to leave us with?
Oh, big pressure. Tips or advice? I think don't listen to your thoughts. In the sense of, I think, you know, you can get very carried away as a creator or an artist, and fill yourself with kind of self-doubt, or overthink things and whatever. And I think as long as you're consistently doing something every day and getting 1% better, I think in the long run you'll always look back in retrospect and be kind of thankful that you didn't listen to those days where you kind of have self-doubt or whatever. There we are.
Beautiful. Don't make it suck. Don't be scared. Shout out Jess. Everybody else. All the creators. Come on, some stuff. Make some babies. Now you don't know how to do that.